In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget, while I find and capture bees in our little Minecraft world. Sorry if my voice sounds a little rough, I wasn't feeling 100% at the time of recording. Spoilers ahead. Sequels to near-perfect movies have two routes. One, they live up to their predecessor like Across the Spider-Verse, or they fall a little flat, similarly to Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 or Lego Movie 2. Dawn of the Nugget was better than expected, but still not great. Don't get me wrong, I love this movie. It was funny, dark at some points, and had really good animation throughout, just like the first one, but I can't help but notice it felt a little empty, and I think I know where it went wrong. Literal is something that was done expertly in Chicken Run, and I can't say the same about Dawn of the Nugget. A massive, futuristic nugget factory with high-tech security, brainless chickens, and a maniac bent on revenge at the helm should be terrifying. There should be high stakes, but there just isn't. It should be difficult to bust in, but they do it first try, and no one gets hurt. It should be difficult for Ginger to escape the hypnotic collar, but it's not. It takes a grand total of 2 minutes, and has 0 side effects. The factory should be deadly, but only one chicken dies, and it's not even the chicken main characters knew, it's just a random we see one time. The plot feels epic, but just about every character and story beat completes itself fairly quickly. It really is a shame that we could have gotten something really special, but instead we got a little more than mid. First off, Miss Tweety isn't scary in the sequel. She used to be collected and maniacal, but now she just shouts and runs around like a headless chicken. She never gives the vibe of, I am in charge, listen up, or at the very least, I will smack you. Instead, she gives, I'm angry, listen to me, or else I'll do on something I just don't know yet kind of vibes. Her axe doesn't carry the weight and burden of dead chickens. Instead, it's just a thing she flails around and never uses to its fullest potential. It used to take an army of chickens to take down one incompetent man, and now it takes one chicken like Rocky to knock over Mrs. Tweety, Mr. Fry, and 2 other guards in one fell swoop. Everything that should have weight and meaning in this movie, for whatever reason, loses any emotional punch it may have had. The only time the villains were scary was in one scene, the scene we meet Miss Tweety. Honestly, I wish they didn't spoil her being back in the trailer. I probably would have crapped myself if I was chilling and then hear her bone-chilling voice echo as she menacingly walks down the stairs. That scene was probably the best in the whole movie because it's the only way we ever feel. We hear a chicken getting ground into nuggets and it's terrifying. We see Molly's reaction and she's just mortified. But 20 minutes later, not a single chicken falls victim to it. The powerless chickens that are happy and willing to die don't. This all-powerful machine is bested by 3 chickens and 2 rats. The machine is so powerless, not even Miss Tweety dies to it. She falls face first into the grinder and comes out the other end fully intact, looking like a nugget. I think to negate this impact, Miss Tweety could have died. Like, have Ginger cover Molly's eyes and ears and have a close-up of Ginger's horrified face, and then cut to a bucket being filled with nuggets. That would have been the fastest, albeit darkest, way to show the impact of the machine, but that still wouldn't fix the messy character arcs. There were so many character beats that could have been great. For starters, Ginger being overprotective of Molly pushed her away. Ginger had seen the inside of a coop. She had seen the horrors of the pen, and her PTSD, also not really talked about at all, still haunts her. Even though the chickens had everything, Molly was right. The chickens were locked up on the island. In the process of keeping the chickens safe, Ginger had taken away freedom from the new generations that didn't know of the dangers. It would have been best if Ginger and Rocky told Molly the dangers of the outside world. But sadly, this was not looked into any further than a few lines of vague dialogue. This happens with Frizzle's arc as well. Frizzle was brainwashed for half the film, and you're telling me there are no negative side effects? They just snap in and out of consciousness without fearing that they could have been chopped up themselves at any time? I would have loved for them to lean into the darker tones that the first movie had. I know I've been negative for most of this review, but I did genuinely enjoy this movie. It was fun watching the gang get back together and go on another adventure. And even though not every voice actor was back, the new cast did really, really good. And eventually you just get used to them. I find it best when looking at sequels to brilliant films to look at them on their own. Comparing Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 to its predecessor will always make it pale. I feel Chicken Run 2 is the same way. It's really not that bad as a standalone film, and I like where the chickens left off, freeing others from their farms. That pretty much sums up my thoughts on Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget. If you enjoyed today's video, I ask you drop a like and share with your fellow movie lovers. And if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it and see what you think. Your own opinion will always sometimes be more important than mine. Next week's video is going to be on Home Alone, so subscribe so you don't miss out on that.
For a week or two, We're going where the sun shines brightly.